Is there anybody with a family with 11q duplication? No one? So you are highly interested. Anybody? I'm going. Again, as for 11q deletion, I used to try to collect information with regard to 11q duplication, add some knowledge and return for clinical support to the families. However, I use the same way: visit our children, interviews, questionnaires, photos, get updates, genetic testing, have clinical records, have standardized blood tests, and set a database. We also did 3D dimensional photos and studied the phenotype with its more features, degree and type of mental disability, physical development, organ malformation. But this must be used by comparing the patients with the same or similar imbalance. And also for the genotype, to identify the chromosomal defects, find the breakpoints, and find if there are hotspots of breaks, identify the interesting chromosomal regions, and get information about genes. Again, by comparing patients with the same or similar imbalance. In Jacobsen, this is possible because children have a deletion that includes a region, a common region. There is a region that is deleted in all patients with Jacobsen. What is partial trisomy 11q? From a genetic point of view, is an imbalance, and it is due to the presence of 3 copies instead of 2 of a piece of 11q. From a clinical point of view, again, is a contiguous gene syndrome with 4 symptoms. Clinical picture includes dysmorphic features, intellectual disability, physical developmental abnormality, and organ malformation. And this is specific for the region that is duplicated or deleted. Why is partial trisomy less well known than Jacobsen? Because it is more difficult to recognize on standard karyotype, and it is very rare. Why is it difficult to recognize? Look at the picture. This is a chromosome 11 deleted. You can see very easily that there is a missing part. It's a chromosome deleted. If you have a chromosome with something in addition, you see a longer chromosome, but you cannot be sure it's the same chromosome duplicated or as it is a piece of another chromosome going on top of that. In fact, it could be a piece of another chromosome. So you can have a chromosome 11 longer. It's called 11q plus, but it's not a duplication of chromosome 11. The piece added to the bottom of the chromosome comes from another chromosome. And trisomy 11q could in fact be due to a longer, stranger family, another chromosome that receives a piece of chromosome 11. So in these cases, it's very difficult to understand the additional part where it comes from, unless there is this is a 10 with a piece of 11 attached. And it's a 10q plus but is a trisomy 11q. If there is a translocation, you see the longer chromosome 10, you can call it DER10, derivative chromosome 10, or 10q plus. But you can see from one parent that is missing a piece of chromosome 11, and the piece that is missing from the bottom of chromosome 11 is attached to chromosome 10. So you are sure that this is a piece of chromosome 11, but because you see from the transmitting parent who is not affected. And if you use only standard chromosome analysis, you see a longer chromosome. Could be an 11, could be another chromosome. You cannot be sure where this piece comes from. If you go on and use chromosome painting, you'd see that in this case, the chromosome is all 11. The stain is complete. In the second case, the stain for chromosome 10 only stains a piece of this chromosome. Does not belong to chromosome 10. So using chromosome painting, where the painting is made using the DNA of the chromosome you are studying, you can see if it's a duplication within chromosome 11 or is a piece of 11 attached onto another chromosome. So fish can give additional information, but the best way to see a duplication of chromosome 11 or any other chromosome is macroarray. It will give which part is duplicated. Maps the trisomic region that could be terminal or interstitial, tells you how wide is the duplication, would detect any additional imbalance, and would tell you what is the other chromosome involved, which region is involved, if it is deleted or duplicated. There are many details. So here you can see red is chromosome 11, that there is a chromosome that has a piece of chromosome 11. So this is a partial trisomy 11q. And in this case, there is also a partial trisomy q, not because of a balanced translocation, an unbalanced translocation, but because there is an additional microchromosome. So in this case, chromosomes would be 47 rather than 46. What array is unable to detect where the piece of chromosome 11 is attached, unless it's attached on a deleted chromosome, because it sees the deletion. It doesn't tell if 11q is on the right position or upside down. It doesn't tell if there is an additional mini chromosome. That's extra material, but doesn't say there are 47 or 46 chromosomes. Doesn't tell if there are balanced translocation within the same karyotype. In fact, in balanced translocation, array is always normal. If we start studying genetics of a person with array, if array is normal, usually chromosome test is not performed. If an imbalance is detected, nowadays often chromosome test is not performed. So there is no chromosome test, and you would not identify a balance from a rearrangement. So I show you the same photo that I showed before, this messy chromosome karyotype, where there were minor boosts, variants of unknown significance, and the karyotype was not, until the karyotype was performed, genetic test was normal, array was normal. However, as you can see, there is a mess because there is a lot of translocation from one chromosome to the other. And the phenotype was abnormal because there was change in a gene. So for complete genetic assessment, we need the chromosome analysis with fission macroarray. Unlike most chromosomal disorders, partial trisomy 11q is more severe than monosomy. Usually, the loss of a chromosome or a piece of chromosome is more severe than a gain of a chromosome. In fact, you know trisomy 21, you don't know monosomy 21. You know trisomy 18, you don't know monosomy 18, doesn't exist. While with 11q is more severe trisomy than monosomy. The clinical features are always the same, 4 kinds of abnormality, but they are always specific on the region involved. It's a contiguous gene syndrome, it's a duplication, it's a contiguous gene syndrome, and the wider the duplication, the more severe is the phenotype. Although there is some variability from one to the other. And besides the size of the duplication, is important the region of duplication. In fact, duplication of gene sensitive to dosage would make it more difficult for the cell to survive. You can have terminal duplication, interstitial duplication. There is sometimes additional imbalance. This is frequent. In this case, that there is a duplication of 11q attached onto a chromosome 11 itself. The deletion, there is a deletion and a duplication of 11. In this case, there will be partial deletion of chromosome 10 and partial duplication of 11q. So there is an additional imbalance, and this additional imbalance would also be expressed in the phenotype.
Real quick, Teresa, there's a question online
Yeah.
about that 10 and 11. She says, I'm curious if the example with the 10 and 11 translocation comes from, if that's just random, or she says, I wasn't aware of other families with the same translocation. So.
Where the translocation comes from?
Well, she just said if that was an actual patient, I guess is what she's probably asking. If the 10 and 11 translocation.
Yes, it is an actual
because
patient.
she said that's what their child is, and she's just interested.
I don't know if they are their chromosomes or somebody else.
She's just interested to know if there's someone else with the same translocation.
By chance. There are few cases of partial trisomy, even after the onset of array, where the diagnosis is easier. We don't collect many cases of trisomy 11q, few cases. They have different trisomic region. There is a different additional chromosome imbalance. So maybe there are 2 10, 11 translocation,
Maybe.
I don't know. The additional chromosome could be side up or upside down. There can be mosaicism. Patients have different ages. So this makes it very difficult to compare cases. And in a familial translocation, individuals with the same imbalance can be compared, but they may be of different ages. Anyway, they can be compared. This is a sample of my patients. You see the 4 on the left are duplication. The duplication is interstitial. Does not include the terminal part of the chromosome. But how can I compare this case with a wide duplication with this, with a small duplication of a different part of the chromosome? This is included within, but I cannot compare them because there is a lot of difference in amount of genes, and this can be compared to the other. 2 cases can be compared. It's easier when you see terminal division because they all have a region of overlap. They overlap. But these are my cases. One is pure, only duplication of chromosome 11. One has a minus chromosome 7q, which is very severe. One has an addition of a piece of chromosome 22. The other one has a deletion of chromosome 4. Can I compare them? Can I give any information through this knowledge? No. The position of chromosome 11q, which is attached onto another chromosome or the chromosome 11 itself, may break a gene, may silence or enhance a chromosome region, and a particular case is translocation of a piece of chromosome 11 on a chromosome X in a female. In female, there are 2 chromosomes X, one derived from the father and the other from the mother. But because male and female physiology is similar, in female, only one chromosome X works. The other one is not working. So the amount of enzymes in the female and the male are the same. So what happens when a piece of chromosome is attached on a chromosome X in a female? Although by chance, this normal chromosome X and this with attached to the chromosome 11q have the same chance of being suppressed. In fact, what survives is the cell line where this is active and this is not working because it's less viable. So in the end, the girl that has this translocation is mildly affected because the chromosome 11q attached on chromosome X is inactivated together with the chromosome X. So the place where a piece of chromosome X 11 is attached could make a difference from one patient to the other. Partial trisomy 11q could be due to an additional chromosome that could be entirely made of chromosome 11. It could be made by 2 chromosomes. And this is how it looks like, a small chromosome. A piece of chromosome 11q could be attached on chromosome 11p, on chromosome 11q itself, on a different chromosome, p or q, could be in the right position or upside down. If it's a mini chromosome, could be mosaic, so the phenotype would be changing according to the amount of abnormal cells. If there is an additional imbalance, as in this case it is usually associated to a deletion of another chromosome, there is a phenotype due to the chromosome that is deleted. What is mosaicism we have seen already is the presence of cells with a different cell chromosome compound. So we have few cases, different trisomic region, different additional chromosome imbalance, side up, upside down, mosaicism, patient of different ages. And my surprise was in the last conference in Germany, the number of patients with interstitial duplication and terminal division of 11q. I don't show this again because I already showed. What I want to, and this is my cases of 11q. I have 34 cases plus 6 cases of deletion and duplication, 11q. So they are 40. Out of 34 cases, not including del-dup 11q, there are 3 cases with imbalance involving chromosome 22, 3 cases involving imbalance number 4, 2 cases involving imbalance of chromosome 14, 2 cases involving imbalance 21, 7 cases, 1 each, chromosome 2, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, Y. 3 cases are mosaics. I cannot compare patients. I cannot have enough cases to say what can I see, what can I predict. Each case is different. So what happens? A critical evaluation of the phenotype and technical update, of course, but what can I say? In prenatal diagnosis or after the birth of a patient with 11q trisomy. Let's leave this prenatal diagnosis with a diagnosis of duplication 11q. It's important to know that the diagnosis has been made by macroarray and/or chromosome test. Of course, these are only screening tests, but macroarray is the only acceptable test for the diagnosis. So what was the test, a screening test or a diagnostic test? How much information do I get? Of course, you check the literature online databases of cases with a similar imbalance and check the results in parents with the chromosome analysis and FISH and macroarray. And what I can say is only this: small interstitial duplication have a milder phenotype, wide and distal more severe phenotype. Distal terminal combination duplication are usually combined with another imbalance, so the phenotype could be even more severe. If the diagnosis is a mosaic, I cannot predict anything, because mosaic could be mild, could be severe. If the family history is negative and there is no familiar balanced translocation, you consider it de novo, de novo. If there are miscarriages, is suspect, and in this case, it could be a balanced translocation in the mother, because in the mother's family there are miscarriages, and this is not a case.
Okay.
It's an example. There could be this 10-11 translocation, and this girl, if she has a trisomy 11q, she has inherited chromosome 10 with attached the chromosome 11. So because there is a balanced translocation in the family, there could be a second case with the same unbalance. But there could be also a second case with the opposite unbalance. So in the same family, you can have a duplication and a division 11q. This is one of my patients. You see all chromosomes are normal, apart from chromosome 17, that is longer. This is a DARE 17 or 17q plus. But if you see what is the father has a broken chromosome 11 and a long chromosome 17. So this is a 11-17 translocation. And so if you have a normal parents and a carrier of a balanced translocation, you can have normal, balanced, unbalanced with trisomy, unbalanced with monosomy. Okay. So the additional chromosome 11 could be on the 11, but could be instead on any other chromosome. So traditional karyotype, fish, microarray, and if array is made first, usually no chromosome test is performed before or after nowadays, while it would be important to have complete tests done using both array and chromosomes. Here you see one of recent cases. It says pathogenetic duplication of chromosome 11q and plus a normal variant of chromosome 15q. Maybe in this case it's true, it's a normal variant because it's common in the population, but maybe it's not. And this chromosome 15 is part of a micro chromosome in addition, that where 11q and 15q are joined together in a mini chromosome. So it could be different. If array is normal, usually chromosome test is not performed, and you would not identify this abnormality. So you both must do chromosome with fish and array. What is the clinical picture in the cases where there is deletion and duplication of 11q? There are some mild cases where the phenotype looks almost like Jacobsen syndrome with some additional finding, and some are more severe where the the loss is not so evident, but is only the clear phenotype of trisomy. In the literature, this is the most recent report, and there are some 20 cases. 7 don't have the array performed, and in 3 there is an additional imbalance that is individually different. So these cases cannot be compared. What we can say is proximal is usually mild, and these marked features are non-obvious, but there may be mild developmental delay, muscular hypotonia, platelet anomalies, which are, I would expect to have more platelets in trisomy. No, they have less platelets. And where in distal there is a severe intellectual disability and physical growth retardation. Facial aspects. Facial aspects, in fact, are the less important for you parents, because it's how they look. For us, doctor, is important because they show us whether they are within one syndrome or another. Intellectual disability is severe. They start working at 6 years. They have delayed or no speech. There is the regression of some acquired abilities. And this is a comparison of children with the terminal and interstitial division. The most interesting aspect is platelet anomalies. They both have and have platelet anomalies. They are reduced as in deletion. They can have genitalia anomalies, mainly distal duplication, anal anomalies, clavicle anomalies. This is almost a specific of trisomy 11q. In non-pure 11q duplication, the other chromosome gives this phenotype as well. And this is a known syndrome, Emanuel syndrome, due to an unbalanced translocation between 11 and 22, with the presence of an additional chromosome, microchromosome, containing both 11 and 22. At birth, there is a neonatal problem in half of the patients. What to do at the diagnosis? What would you do? Sorry, I'm very tired. What would you do? In all cases of syndromic patient, is a clinical assessment by all the specialists, and specialists, instrumental test, blood assessment, complete blood assessment, evaluation after a while, and the follow-up must be tailored according to what's wrong in the child. You must look at the child and understand what must be done. Sorry.
All right. There's lots of questions online.
Yeah.
Okay. The first one is, our son has trisomy 11q, 24.2, q25 duplication, but also 9p, 243p, 24.2 deletion. I know that's a lot.
Yes.
Is it more likely that one of those deletion or duplications is going to show more, or did they both create equal issues?
They both give issues. When there are two unbalanced, there may be one is more evident than the other. they can join together and do both phenotype, or they may be one hides the other. So there can be a plus, a minus, and a multiplication. And depends on which genes are there, because this is not abnormal genes. This is more of a gene. If the gene has a dosage, important in dosage, and then the gene that is missing or is in addition gives a lot of phenotype. If the dosage is not important, doesn't matter. Did I answer?
I think so. All right, the next one is our son has partial trisomy 11q23.1 q25, which was due to a balanced translocation from me. I have 3 older children. Could they also have the balanced translocation and pass it on to future children? Should we have them genetic tested?
This is not a question.
It's a question online.
What is I don't understand the question.
Oh, they have, the parent has a balanced translocation and their child has a duplication,
Yeah.
but they have other children that are typical. Should they be tested for the same balanced
Of course,
translocation?
yes, but because you cannot do to the children, you should wait until they are 18 and they can choose whether they want to know or not.
Okay. All right, and then this one, does it mean if the information has come from a different chromosome, then it's a trisomy of the other chromosome? She said, our son has extra on his 11th, but I have a translocation with chromosome 9. So does that mean he has trisomy 9, even though it's attached to his chromosome 11, or am I getting things mixed up?
I think yes.
I think it's mixed up.
Probably she has a 9/11 translocation. I think.
Yeah, I think it is a 9 and 11 translocation with a duplication on 11 and deletion on 9. So I think that
Duplication 11, deletion 9.
Yes.
Yes.
that's
P
right.
or Q?
9P, 9P, 11Q.
9P gives hygrocephaly as
Oh, so, okay,
gene.
all right. That's all the questions on here.
No?
Anything else? All right, well, thank you.
Thank you for being so kind to listen to me.
Thank you for being here.
Yes.